Hello, everyone. Welcome to Phil Tank. And today I want to talk about conspiracy theories that are not considered conspiracy theories anymore. Sure, there's gonna be a lot of things that are already in the mainstream discussions, like about the fluoride in the water and the stuff that used to be a fringe tinfoil hat topic like 10, 15 years ago. Geoengineering, as we call it now, chemtrails, stratospheric aerosol injection, which is the term that we use now to make it sound a little bit less like a conspiracy theory. I just want to go through a few examples of a few things that have been more actively discussed in media in the past couple of years. Some other things that I found out doing research. And I published an essay on my Substack, just making a little bit advertisement for myself here. It has the same title. The difference between the conspiracy theory and reality is 10 years. And all the articles, I'm going to talk about some articles or videos, documentaries, interviews that I got my information from. And in that article, I'm going to link it below, are all the actual articles and the videos to the interviews and the other things that I'm going to talk about. So if you're interested in actually doing a little bit background research, reading a little bit more into the topic to be sure that I'm not just talking out of my ass, you can go there, you can check out the article, or just scroll, not even read the article, just scroll down, and there you will find all the links to the articles and the videos and all the other stuff, and even more than the things that I'm going to talk about today. The article is still in German. I'm currently trying to find some time to also write in English and publish on my Substack. And just in generally trying to be a little bit more active on Substack, trying to figure that stuff out. But just as I said in my last video, I'm not stressing myself. I'm just mainly doing this for fun. So let's talk about the things. Let's talk about first about the thing that we basically see every day. Yeah, those weird things in the sky. You know, those. I already feel kind of wacky talking like this. Those lines in the sky, those trails in the sky that don't dissolve. They're just forming kind of cloud formations. Those patterns, like weird X patterns that commercial airlines normally don't fly. Yeah, so I mean it's pretty open now. I'm not gonna talk about the hurricane in Texas. I think a lot of people probably remember this if you read into this. There was this hurricane or this flood in Texas. I believe it was in fall 2025, if I'm not wrong. And then this guy from the startup company, this young guy, did a podcast tour. He was even on the Alex Jones show. By the way, they shut down Alex Jones. They already shut down Infowars. However, he was even on Alex Jones. He was interviewed by Owen Schroyer back then. And he visited a bunch of different podcasts, and he basically made an unofficial apology tour. He was just like, yeah, geoengineering is real, but it's actually kind of good for the environment. It's fighting climate change, whatever that might be. Dimming the sunlight and all of that stuff. But I swear I'm not responsible for the hurricane. So he just came out and did this tour, denying. I'm not saying that guy was responsible for the hurricane. I'm just saying that that was pretty out in the open. They were like, yeah, we can't do things like that, but it wasn't me. Please don't lynch me. It wasn't me. So my point is, I believe it accelerated pretty quickly. We went from 0 to 100 with the whole geoengineering things because I remember probably about 5 years ago, he would still be considered a retard by most of the people. if you brought up something like this, just if you ask the questions, why are some contrails dissolving pretty quickly, but other trails are like kilometers long? They go from horizon to horizon, and they stay there, and they expand, forming, doing cloud formations. You would be considered like, I don't know what's the word even today. Therefore, a conspiracy theorist. But there went out pretty quickly, with all the geoengineering stuff. And we will probably hear more about it, I believe, in the next years. And they will try to do a positive spin on it. Like, they will say, yeah, it's dimming the sun. It's actually good against man-made climate change. I'm not going into this topic now. Maybe I'll do it in a separate video. But yeah, there's this documentary, The Dimming, I believe. It's from this guy from the geoengineering.org website. He was on Tucker Carlson. He was, I believe, also on Alex Jones. I don't know what to think about that guy because he buys into the whole man-made climate change thing. He's informing people. I guess that's a good thing. I believe he's living somewhere in the desert or something. He's off the grid, sort of. However, yeah, there's this guy, but the thing is, it's not only the startup guys with the cloud seeding jets and the geoengineering watch guys. There's been this report from April 2025 from the British government that the British Advanced Research and Invention Agency, short ARIA, sponsored a £50 million project, which is dispersing particles in the stratosphere. This is the whole stratospheric aerosol injection thing, as they call it now in professional jargon. And the goal is to, of course, combat man-made climate change. So, like 150 years of industrial life have such a huge impact on the climate and Earth that we literally need to spray chemicals into the sky to combat it. Yeah, I said it in my space video. It's a pretty exciting. It must be pretty exciting time to be a dumbass. Pardon me for saying that like this. Yeah, so there you have the thing, the difference between a conspiracy theory and reality. It's about a decade. Everybody was laughing at me, and now the British government is like, yeah, we need to spray something into the sky. This is not only about this, about it being something new or something that they just come up with. This has been going on for a long time. They're just they're now getting the balls to really go to the public with this, and they're selling it as basically as every dark and anti-human agenda is being marketed nowadays. It's green. It's for the earth, you know. Charles Carroll said it, and I think this is great, and it really gives you something to think about. Man is second only to God. And ignoring that fact will take away all your rights and your birthrights and your freedom. So it's man is second only to God. There is not a block of ice above humanity. There is not a tree, an animal, and I like animals. There is nothing above humanity besides God. But what we are doing right now, we're putting all these ideological concepts and the worship of nature above humans, above humanity. And the funny thing is, the people that put the worship of nature, in air quotes, above humans are actually the ones that are mowing down all the trees to put solar panel farms there or build those windmills there. They're just, you ever been to the sea? You ever been to the ocean, to the coasts? It's disgusting. You can't take a picture without one of those windmills just standing there. However, just as I said, this is a topic probably for a separate video, I'm jumping from point to point here again. The thing is that humans been interested in controlling the weather for a long time now. And the first weather modification experiment was actually conducted on October 13th, 1947. It was an experiment under the project Cyrus, as it was called. And for this experiment, they dropped 82 kilograms of dry ice into a hurricane that was approximately, well, it was actually 667 kilometers east of Jacksonville, Florida. And the result was, after they dropped this 82 kilograms of dry ice into the hurricane. I'm not a meteorologist, but I understand that hurricanes or storms are formed when, I believe, cold water and warm air, or warm water and cold air collide or something. So the result of those 82 kilograms of dry ice that they dumped into this hurricane was that the hurricane gained strength in the course of 24 hours and made a 135-degree turn towards west. And on noon of October 15th, 1947, Hurricane King hit Savannah, Georgia, parts of South Carolina, and caused $2 million of damage. This is $2 million for 1947. After that, a guy, Dr. Irving Lemure, I hope I pronounced that right, from this project Cyrus, made a statement that he's 99% sure that the change in direction and the increase in strength of the hurricane was caused by the dry ice that they dumped into that hurricane. I don't think you have to be some kind of doctor to be sure that that it was the 82 kilograms of dry ice that they dumped into the hurricane. This is actually pretty interesting because this is the article, as I stated in the beginning, this article is linked in the essay. It's the first link that you will find on the Substack site. It's from the Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory. It's an official U.S. government website, and an article about this was published on October 12th, 2017. It's called the 70th anniversary of the first hurricane seeding experiment. Just as I said, the article is linked in my essay if you want to read the whole thing. It's actually pretty interesting. And of course, this technology also improved, and they got not more sophisticated technology. And even after that, they didn't just stop after the hurricane caused $2 million damage in the U.S. During Vietnam, in the period of the Vietnam War between 1967 and 1972, there was an operation going on. It was called Operation Popeye. This one is actually more known, I believe. It was an operation to extend the intensity, to increase the intensity and extend the length of the monsoons, of the tropical storms over Vietnam, to disrupt Viet Cong logistics. It was directed by Henry Kissinger, and for this operation they spread silver iodine over Cambodia and Vietnam. So they had the technology, they still got the technology. I don't know if they use it in war. I don't know if they use it for controlled demolition. There are probably more cheaper ways for controlled demolition. But however, it's there. It's in the mainstream now. They're openly talking about it now. And they're trying to put like a positive green narrative to it. Soon we probably will start seeing Amazon Prime or Netflix documentaries, the green side of cloud seeding. They will probably come up with something like this. They will soft launch it to condition the population to think, yeah, it's actually a good thing. The more people will start asking themselves questions, the more they have to come out with a narrative that will fit the current thing, to support the current thing. It's actually good against climate change, whatever. It's reducing the population or whatever the good. It's supporting Ukraine or whatever the good thing is now. Now, when I wrote down my notes for this video, or when I was doing the research for the essay that I wrote about the difference between conspiracy theories and the reality, I didn't want to go that deep into the vaccine topic. I mean, we all probably have our opinions on that now, or not, or medicine in general. I think you have to be retarded to fully trust doctors now. And I kind of was like that even before COVID, but I think COVID was really the thing that radicalized me. That was my my deny all science moment, and then actually the whole. However, but I want to go down medicine in generally. There was doctors, the heroes without the capes, the heroes, the doctors. There was this ad from actually this ad. I believe I linked it also in the essay. There was an ad from 1947. It was for Camel cigarettes. Like I stopped smoking 2 years ago, but I would lie if I would tell you that I don't miss it. There was this ad for Camel cigarettes from 1949 that was actually using doctors. I don't know if they were real, but they're certainly saying more doctors smoke Camel cigarettes over any other cigarettes. And there basically was like a 2 minute video. You can still find it on YouTube, about how great Camel cigarettes are, and the doctors love smoking them after a hard day of vaccinating people. My point with this is just that medicine sort of become what politics already was a long time ago. A prostitute for lobbyists, multinational groups, whoever pays the most money, whoever has the most attractive offer for you to push their narrative. This is what medicine came to. It is just like politics. It is just saying the most lucrative thing. And I don't know, there's like a whole rabbit hole that you couldn't go down. There's a tons of videos out there about all the secret frequencies that heal cancer, and they don't want us to know. However, I don't want to go down any of that, because I simply don't have enough knowledge of that, and I try to stay away from that. I try to live a healthy lifestyle, but at the same time, I don't want to demoralize myself by watching hours and hours of content where they say, well, this is all the good stuff that they keep away from you. People used to get 300 years old, and now we just stop working, we retire, and then we die in 10 years. I already did my first video, was on nutrition and a healthy lifestyle, where I sort of said that I don't trust modern medicine. I try to stay away from all the endocrine disruptors, the microplastic, the coated pans. I literally got a 10 kilogram cast iron pan that I use for literally everything. However, the thing is, whatever they might tell you today that is good, that it's mandatory, that you should do, the doctors telling you, the doctor recommended it, in 20 years, it will probably be looked upon in the same way as some people look now at the 1949 Camel cigarette ad, and we're like, all those doctors smoking the Camel cigarettes probably died from lung cancer, haha. And this is probably the same way that the people are going to look at the quadruple boosted doctors and people now. However, there was a very interesting article that led me to a study, also linked in the article in my essay. It's something even weirder that I didn't even want to go down. It's an article or a study from two doctors. It's shocking that this is not more known. Just as I said, the study is linked in there. It's a very weird, interesting read. The title is Real-Time Self-Assembly of Stereo Microscopically Visible Artificial Constructions in intubated specimens of mRNA products, mainly from Pfizer and Moderna. A comprehensive study. It's also with pictures from the microscopes. So it's just as the title says, it's about artificial self-assembling nanoparticles in the COVID shots. I don't remember who, but there were a lot of guys or some guys that are already talked about that. There was this guy, Jesse, what was his name? Jesse Beltran, I believe. He did an interview with Alex Jones in October 2025. The video is also linked in the essay about this. But again, nothing new. Well, they're not as open about the COVID vaccine as they're now about geoengineering. Now it's quite the opposite. Vaccines are still the holiest thing and you can't criticize them. Vaccines are like Israel. Don't you dare to say anything negative about them. But there was a TED talk about medicine. The format is called TED talk from this Israeli doctor Ido Bachelet. It's called How Nanobots Will Change Medicine. It's on YouTube. Also, the link you can find. You know where you can find the link. And in this, I believe it's a 25-30 minute presentation by him, and at one point it's about the 15-minute mark when he after the opening and after he says how positive and beautiful and wonderful all the things are that he's going to talk about, and how there's 100% nothing that can go wrong with this technology. He's holding up a syringe, and I actually had to pause the recording to find the numbers. He holds up a syringe and said that in this syringe are 1,000 trillion robots. This is what it says, 1,000 trillion robots. Each of them is 50 nanometers small. 50 nanometers are 2,000 times thinner than the human hair. And these little robots can be manipulated. They can be controlled with computers or a Wi-Fi signal. This is what this guy, Dr. Ido Bachelet, said in 2013 in that TED talk that you can probably still find on YouTube. And then there's this weird thing that I found after that. I mean, this is a lot of these are a lot of topics in this video. It doesn't really sound like a structured recording. I'm just jumping from point to point. There is this patent from AT&T. It's from December 2018, and it's called Routing Policies for Biological Hosts. And you can also find the link for that one in my essay, but it's not particularly interesting. It's just a lot of theoretical talk that I don't really understand. There are some graphics there, and it's actually kind of Neuralink before Neuralink. I don't remember when Musk started talking about Neuralink, but sure there were things like that, or ideas, theories like that a bit prior to 2018. But the thing is, it's actually it's actually sort of what Neuralink is, but just with nanobots in human brains or bodies, transmitting biological signals to, for example, your phone, being able to controlled or monitored by your phone. In theory, they could record memories or manipulate memories or project an image into your head, so it's like a fake memory. And of course, in theory, all this is already possible, but The question is just, do we have the physical hardware to do that? You know that in the 1890s, Max Planck already built a nuclear bomb physically on paper. He already had everything that proves that you could do a nuclear bomb. Only the hardware didn't exist until the 1930s, 40s. So we probably with this technology at a same spot where in theory this is already proven and it works in theory. We just lack the hardware, even though I think that with a lot of things we're already moving towards a time, a technological advancement where we already have the hardware or almost there. So I'm cutting myself short. Probably this is why this feels for me so unstructured, because I want to keep those things under 30 minutes. Maybe I will go into depth with some of those topics in separate things. I just wanted to bring these three examples, like the geoengineering thing, the engineering of our biological bodies, and the monitoring of them. It was, I believe, that guy Yuval Harari who wrote that book that we all read, Sapiens, who said during COVID that we have to be able to monitor everything that is happening under the human skin. And I already mentioned in some of my prior videos that I see everywhere the evidence that there is an effort to separate us from our bodies, because we are souls, we are spiritual beings that are trapped in this physical body, and we need to take care of that body, and we have to use this body as a tool, because this body as a tool, it's a biological spacesuit that God gave us as a tool to do good things, to move through this physical world, to engage with other physical bodies and souls, to do good, to create, to leave something behind, to work on something greater than us. But there's a steady effort trying to decouple us from our body through the digital technological realm, through avatars, through virtual reality, through all the short-term pleasures and excitements and all the distractions that the world has to offer you. So the third point, the last point, I try to keep it short. So the first point was the geoengineering and how the rhetoric for geoengineering changed. Oh, chemtrails, they're fake. And now it's, you mean stratospheric aerosol injection. Of course, it's real. 1947, Project Cyrus. But it's actually good. We're combating climate change with it. We are keeping the population in check with it, whatever the narrative is. Then the whole nanotechnology, the trust the science, trust the medicine. Doctors used to smoke, trust the science topic. Actually, the science is changing. This is also what I said in my space video. The science is changing every few years. You know, Pluto is not a planet anymore. Now, last week I read an article where it's like one NASA scientist reignites the discussion about Pluto, saying, "Hey, it is actually a planet." They used to think humans have 48 chromosomes. It's actually 46 chromosomes. They're in the 70s they were talking about global cooling. Now nobody dares to combine those two words together. So then it was global warming. Now it's called climate change. And I mean, of course, the climate is changing, but I don't believe for a second that it's that humans are the cause for it. But you know, humans are a disease, a sickness. Humans are cancer and a curse. So we need to sterilize everybody and spray shit in the sky and get you vaccinated and get you isolated and lock you in your pod where you have virtual reality on 24/7 and can live in a artificial microwave plastic world. However, MK Ultra, everybody heard of MK Ultra. There are thousands of books about MK Ultra, references being made everywhere. My last point is that question everything. Nah, don't go full schizo. Don't make a conspiracy theory out of everything. It's not fun to live like that and to look at things like that. But the thing is, my opinion is, projects like that, they don't end. They'll never end. MK Ultra, which went from 1953 until 1973 was actually, it's the mind control project. Everybody probably heard of that. But it was a continuation of Project Artichoke that went on from 1951 until 1953. The main goal of Project Artichoke was to create assassins out of normal human beings, and they used morphine addiction for that, to mess with the people's minds, I guess, and hypnosis. So they came to the conclusion that you just have to change the perception of a person, and that will make it absolutely and that will make it absolutely okay in the course of like 20-30 minutes for this person to commit murder. You just have to hypnotize them and change the perception and to convince them that it's actually a good thing. Well, but the guy that you are killing is a Nazi. All of a sudden, murder doesn't sound that bad. And there was this guy. There was this guy that was a hypnotist. I forgot the context of the story, but this was already later. This was past Project Artichoke. He actually hypnotized women in his office to undress themselves. So he brought women over to his place, like in a sort of in a professional environment, and then he hypnotized them, and he convinced them that they're at home. So he was like, you just came back from work, it was a hard day, you pour yourself a glass of wine, you undress yourself, you want to go into the shower. And these women actually undress themselves right in front of that guy. So this is how you can change through hypnosis the perception of people and convince them of basically everything. And Project Artichoke was a continuation of things that the Nazis, the actual Nazis, the German Nazis, did with prisoners of war in their camps. They used morphine and I believe psychedelics like mescaline to concoct some sort of truth serum. And the knowledge that swapped over into the US through Project Paperclip and all the Nazis that were brought over into the US was the basis of Project Artichoke. After that came MK Ultra, and the thing is that after projects like this are revealed, like MK Ultra was during the Church Committee, where I believe 20,000 documents, MK Ultra documents, were analyzed, but most documents were destroyed. Actually, CIA Director Richard Helms in that time illegally destroyed a majority of the MK Ultra documents. So most of the things that this project was about were never revealed because there was no paper trail, no proof. The thing is that once such a thing ends or gets publicized, they don't just lock away all the files and all the people working on that stuff just start working for, I don't know, the Department of Health or whatever it is. They're just continuing the same projects under a new name or slightly different, and yeah, that's it. It's just things like that. Are constantly being worked on and continued. I just leave it at that. I'm not even gonna go into the whole because I don't have any proof for it, and I don't know if I actually think that way. That, for example, the legalization of all the drugs and the mass feeding of amphetamines and SSRIs to the population are some sort of part or continuation of some MK Ultra like thing. I'm not even going there. I just leave it at that. You can make the rest up for yourself as always. Yeah, and I just leave it at that. And I'm not actually even that smart about all those things like the CIA projects. I don't even know that much about it. I just have pretty basic knowledge. But MK Ultra, Project Artichoke, Project Chatter, which was a Cold War project where the CIA paid money for news agencies to spread what we would call propaganda today, or I don't even know if we would call that propaganda today, but news that are pretty favorable for certain types of narratives. I think we see that today in mainstream media. If you're still one of those watching mainstream media, Russia's economy is collapsing, and we need more. We need to import more people from. Well, it's, the whole thing. Not even gonna go there. Yeah, and I think I'll just leave it at that. Everything else will just be too extensive, and I just scratched the surface of all of those things. But my main goal is just to stimulate people to do their own research, to question things more, even question myself if I sometimes got my shit wrong, got it fucked up. I linked the essay with all the links to the articles and the videos below in the thing. Yeah, and remember, as always, don't get demoralized. Living a good life, being a good person, and getting the maximum out of your quality of life is the only weapon that you got in this world. And God bless us all with patience and peace.